So on this video, I'm going to be sharing why I stopped drinking. Dun dun dun! Just kidding, it's not that dramatic. So let me just start out by saying this was a personal choice. This by no means is a video trying to get people to stop drinking. I am all for it. I still go out with friends who drink. I'm not anti-alcohol. This was just a personal choice for me. Drinking for me was never something that was obsessive or all-consuming. When did I start drinking? My parents were really open because I was a really good kid and I was pretty responsible. They were totally okay with me having a glass of wine when I was like, I want to say 18, at home, only at home. So like there would be times where they would have wine with dinner, and usually it was only white wine that I liked. I did not like red wine. So they would pour me like a small glass, and obviously I had to stay home and be home to drink it. And this wasn't every meal. So that was my intro. Alcohol was like always a part of our family, but not in like a way that was obsessive. So it was never something that I was like, oh, I need to sneak out and drink and things like that. I didn't really drink in high school. I was like kind of a nerd, so that wasn't really my thing. So alcohol was always a positive thing for me. So speed up to my first trip to Europe. That was actually my first intro to like drinking outside of like just a few glasses of wine here and there. I went to Europe when I was 18. Trip I was going on, it was like right out of high school. So as long as your parents signed that little permission slip that said you could drink over in Europe, you could. And my parents knew I was responsible, so they were totally fine. And I remember the first time I had like anything other than wine. I had a Corona and I had a Smirnoff Ice. And I remember thinking I was so cool. I was like, this is so cool. I'm in Europe right now, drinking a Smirnoff Ice. So anyway, that was my intro. Obviously, like most people in college, like I didn't really drink for the flavor. It was more just for like the fun and like, you know, it wasn't crazy. I wasn't like a binge drinker. So all that to say, alcohol has always had its place in my life, like, but not a stronghold. Over the years, the more I experienced like trauma and life events, as we all do, you know, we use alcohol to help regulate our mood. And I realized that for me, I was really dependent on alcohol to help regulate my mood. And when I say that, I just mean like I am an empathetic person. I'm a sensitive person. I have a lot of things going on in my brain. I also have ADHD. I'm slightly neurodivergent. And so there are a lot of things that I'm realizing now that, you know, are things I deal with every day that I was using alcohol to kind of help with. So what made me decide to stop drinking? Well, for me, alcohol was a big part of my mood regulation. If I was feeling stressed or anxious, I'd be like, oh, I'll just have a glass of wine, or I'll just have a small cocktail. Especially being a single mom, I know for me, like in the early days when I first became a single mom, I, full disclosure, would totally put the kids to bed, and then I would always have a cocktail. I remember having my gin and tonic. I'd have one every night. It was always my little go-to, and it wasn't over the top. It wasn't like I was like, you know, totally like drinking the whole night. I would have a couple drinks and then be good, but it was definitely like my thing where it was like, I definitely at the end of the day need this. 2020 definitely did not help. You know, we're all in quarantine, and I remember specifically kind of having this like, oh, every day at this time I have a cocktail, like that's what I do. And it just became a habit, and the habit turned into sort of like me being dependent on it for mood regulation. So I just didn't like that. I didn't like feeling like I was dependent on something for my mood. So I sort of would play around with taking breaks. And the more I would take breaks, the more I realized I don't really know if alcohol is even necessary. Like I felt better when I didn't drink. And then speed up to dating and my relationship. I noticed the times where I would drink and I was stressed, I would, you know, be sometimes combative, and like it just wasn't a good vibe. Realizing that alcohol was hindering me and was not actually adding anything valuable to my life, it just hit me. It was like, why am I doing this? So speed up to December, I decided, after having drinks and just like not feeling good and just sort of like having just moments where I just was not my best self, I'm like, it's not serving you anymore. Like just be done. Just try it. So I did dry January. I kind of was like, okay, I'll do dry January. And then after that, I just was like, I just don't need to drink anymore. So what have I noticed since I've stopped drinking? I noticed that I really was very dependent on it for mood regulation. I noticed when I first stopped, I really did have social anxiety. I would go out and I would hang out and feel like, oh my gosh, everyone is like laughing at me, or everyone, like I just felt so exposed. And I realized that that's when I would grab a drink, or I would grab a cocktail, and I just basically had to shift my mental frame. So now if I'm out and I'm feeling like social anxiety, I will take a deep breath. I will maybe go to the bathroom, have a little talk with myself, and then I'll order a mocktail and I will carry on. Because at the end of the day, it's so powerful to know that I don't have to use alcohol, or I don't have to be dependent on it to be okay. When I finally sat down and I was just like, Britt, alcohol isn't serving you. Why are you still trying to force this? Why are you still trying to kind of act like, oh, I can still have it, when you know that this isn't serving you, and the next part of your healing process is to be done with it. And so I just had a moment one night where I was just like, you know what? It's not serving me. Why am I forcing this? Just let it go. And I journaled, I cried, and it was my own personal journey, and I haven't really looked back. And the reason why I know that it's the right choice for me is because it feels like freedom. This choice feels like freedom. Now, is it hard? Now let's talk about that. Let's get into the real deal. There are definitely times where I'm just like, oh, you know, where you just want to escape. And what I've found is I have to find other ways of escaping. A lot of times when you want to drink, it's just that dopamine hit that you're wanting, that quick little relief. And so now instead of that, I'll go for a walk, I'll listen to music. I do eat a lot more sugar than I used to. I have noticed that. Like, I crave sugar so much more than I used to. But just finding other ways to regulate my mood has been so empowering. Now, there are definitely times where I'm just like, ooh, yeah, would just like sitting down with a bottle of wine right now be great? Yeah, but would it be great for me mentally and health-wise? No, because I know for me that sitting down with a bottle of wine isn't something that's leisurely, it's an escape. And it's not something that I really need to be partaking in anymore. One thing I will say is, if you're feeling like you want to go down this road of not drinking anymore, find replacements. You know, if I go to a party or I go to a social event, a lot of times I'll bring my own thing. I'll bring like my own mocktail. I'll bring my own bottle of non-alcohol rosé. Because for me, it's not even that I feel like I want to get drunk. It's more of just like, I want to have a cocktail too. If I go out for cocktails or go out for happy hour, I want to have something too. And that's something that I will really say has helped me stick to it, is not limiting going out, not feeling like I can't hang out with my friends, I can't have a girls' night out. I still do all of those things. I still go to happy hours, and most bars are so happy to make you a mocktail. They're so happy to make you other options. A lot of bars have NA options. So if this is something that you're dabbling in, don't feel alone, don't feel bad, and don't feel like you can't do it, because ultimately it's your choice and it's your mental health. And that's what I realized. You know, no one's going to heal for you. No one's going to fix your problems. That is up to you. And as much as it would be easy for me to be like, well, it is what it is. I've gone this long, this many years. Why change now? I just, deep in my heart, felt like this is not the choice for me. And I decided to just stop. Now, I know not everyone has it that easy. I thankfully, you know, I don't think I had necessarily a problem with alcohol. I didn't feel the need like I had to go to like AA or anything like that. But no offense or nothing against you if you do. If that's something that you're feeling like, well, I really am struggling, I really don't feel like I can stop drinking on my own, I need support, please don't feel ashamed. You know, we are all in this together. We all struggle with something. Literally all of us are addicted to something, truly. Whether it's alcohol or things like that, like we all have addictions, we all have things that we've used, because when trauma in life happens, we have to cope some way, and we all find ways of coping. So that is my spiel, that is my take, that is why I stopped drinking. It's still something kind of new to me. You know, this will be my first summer not drinking, and I've already sort of felt a few things about it. I just try to be very honest with myself, and in those moments where I start to feel anything, I write it down, I talk to myself about it. So I'd love to know, head to the comments, is if you are on a non-alcoholic NA journey, how has it been? Is it something recent for you? Is it something permanent? Let's chat about it. Also, I would love to share more if you guys are interested in knowing. This is just such a fun choice for me, and different. You know, I really never thought that this would be me, and this is why I never say never. You know, over the years have had friends who weren't drinkers, and I, to be honest, was always kind of like, oh, that's kind of lame. You know, if you go to their house, you have to bring your own alcohol. But now I'm that person, and I'm grateful for the friends I have who are supportive, and I'm grateful for my boyfriend who's so supportive. You know, I decided to stop. And for me, it actually makes me feel better when people around me still continue to drink and do what they are doing. Because it doesn't hinder me. So, you know, it actually makes me feel really good to go out and like I order my little thing and people order wine and do whatever they want to do. this is just a friendly reminder that you should do what makes you feel good and what you need for your life, and don't let anyone else pressure you. You know, there's so many times where I felt like I needed to drink because I was bored. You guys, there were so many times that I would drink because I was bored. I didn't have hobbies, and so I would literally just be like, okay, I guess I'll go have drinks, and like that's what I'll do. And a lot of times it's just being more creative and realizing that there's other things in life to do than just drink. So that is my journey with it. I'm excited to share even more with you guys as I continue journeying on. I'm excited to share mocktails with you and all the things that I'm finding. But yeah, that is also where a lot of my weight loss has come from. I know a lot of people were like, oh my God, you've lost so much weight. What's going on? You know, the first months of when you stop drinking, you know, I've read your metabolism is like boosted hardcore. So that's definitely a thing. But also I just feel better. I feel better. My mental state is better. And for me, it's really nice to not have to come back every single time from that mood regulation, from that, you know, that hungover feeling where you drink too much, or maybe you drank too much and you said something you didn't, you know, that's what I didn't like. You know, there'd be times where I would drink and then I'd become so honest, and like, I know we've all been there, but for me, I just would notice this pattern where I just would become a person that I didn't love, and I would say things I didn't like, or I wouldn't remember things. Just was not a vibe for me, not a vibe. And so I'm really grateful to have made that choice. So yeah, that is my spiel about it. I'd love to hear more if you guys want to talk or share or chat in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I just want to let you guys know I have a new video up every single Wednesday, so it'll be either a vlog or a sit down video. If you guys like this style video still, let me know what you'd like to hear. I would love to share more of what I've been journeying through and healing and thinking about over the past couple years. So I also plan to share more about dating and all that. So let me know if you guys want to hear more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye.